a little trouble there for a while. Couldn't get back with you.
Same here. Sorry.
I texted you. I don't know if you even got the text or not.
I heard a ding, but I didn't see any text message. It was weird.
Yeah, I sent you a text. I was trying to reconnect. Just assumed we had a bad connection problem.
Yep. Audio's going in and out.
Get exactly where I was. You know, I can leave here and in about 5 minutes I can be at a place where I have good internet.
It's alright. In 5 minutes I need to be back down in the tent doing some work.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the main thing is I got things I need to process in my life, and you're not helping me do it in a respectful way.
Well, the main thing for me is that you did something I think severely out of line, and you don't seem to have any remorse for it whatsoever.
Can we talk about exactly this is great. Exactly what in the video was out of line, and I'll totally calibrate. This is what I want. What did I do that was out of line? I think I was really respectful in my perspective to Robert. I was really conscientious and respectful.
Well, first of all, in a previous video that you had on there when you were talking about marrying you.
How do you know I have a YouTube channel? How long have you been watching my videos? I didn't even know you've watched my YouTube videos. This is new to me, and I'm still processing. Like, how did you know? I didn't even send the video out to Robert or to you, but you found it. How?
You made the comment that it was kind of creepy, but I wondered to myself, when you put something on a wide open video channel that's open to the entire world.
You know how many people watched the video? That video's been watched 4 times, Dad. I watched it once, and it's been watched 3 more times. I bet by you. The world hasn't seen the video. You've seen the video, and in your mind, you've made it really grandiose, like the whole world is watching. But that's your ego. That's your ego getting really defensive and scared. It's the first stage of ego death. The whole world isn't watching that video. Nobody fucking cares about that video. Nobody cares about the video.
There again, you're putting stuff in my mouth. You're putting words in my mouth. You don't give me the chance to explain when you ask the question.
I wonder where I learned that trait from. Well, I wonder where I learned that characteristic from.
Well, are you going to maintain it for the rest of your life, or are you going to try to do something about it?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's a nice little smart answer. But either way, you asked me how many people I think seen it. I assume that Robert probably hasn't seen it.
It's a good assumption, because I haven't sent it to him.
Okay. But if Robert typed in if Robert went on the internet and looked for it and knew how to find it.
If he went and looked for it, yeah. Why would he think to look for that? Dad, this is what really concerns me. Do you think you're the only child he sexually molested? Or do you think it's possible that it happened after you?
Yes, I do.
You think then do you think that if you would have talked about it, you might have kept that sexual abuse from happening?
Son, you have no idea the things that I've done.
I asked you a question. Do you think that if you talk about your sexual abuse, it can keep it from happening to other people? Or do you think that if you talk about your sexual abuse, it has no effect on anybody? That's a legitimate question.
I agree with you. Yes, it would have effect. If I talked
I didn't state anything. I asked you a question. You can't just say I agree with you. You need to tell me your perspective. Do you think it will help people or not if you talk about your sexual abuse?
Depending on who I'm talking to, yes, it can be helpful. The thing that I have the hardest thing for me to deal with here is that you did something like that without any thought of how it would make me feel.
I recorded my thoughts and I didn't send them to anyone. I do care about how it makes you feel too. There's so many things that you misperceive about me. They're so twisted. I really care about you. That's why I think that we should have uncomfortable conversations, because they make us healthier people. Does that make sense to you?
Then when I ask you to...
Now I need you to... Do you understand what I just said? I care about you. You keep saying I don't care about you, but I really do. I care about you so much, Dad, that I'm willing to have really uncomfortable conversations, even in public, because I care about, not only do I care about you, but I care about people I haven't even met. I care about kids that I haven't met that may be getting sexually molested tomorrow. I care about kids that may have been sexually abused yesterday that don't know how to talk about it. I may have never met those kids, but I care about them so much, I'm willing to have an uncomfortable conversation with my father who was sexually abused. I'm willing to have that conversation in public to help people learn how to talk about it in a respectful way. Because, Dad, because I care about other people so much.
But you don't seem to have respect for my desire for it not to be public.
No, because that's not a respectful position for you to hold. You want to hide it away and not. That is my opinion.
That's your opinion.
And I will stand by that opinion as a strong man of integrity. I will defend consciously and articulately. I'll defend that position too. I think it's really healthy for us to talk about the sexual abuse, to bring light to it. If we let these things stay in the shadows, they fester and become really bad, toxic things. But if we talk about them, bring loving light to the situation, you know, sunlight is like, it burns away dis-ease. Like, we can put like fungus in the sunlight and it literally burns it away. Huh?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
When you were speaking in your videos about the physical abuse that you suffered as a child, how many times were you physically abused other than the time you got in a fight with Dan?
Quite a few. I don't think I need to try and recount them all. What benefit would that have?
You see, it's funny the way that you don't respect my desire to ask questions. It's only when you ask questions I must answer.
I just answered your question. Did I not answer your question respectfully? I'll answer it again.
No, you didn't. You said, I asked how many and you didn't give me an answer.
I did. I said a lot. And then I followed it up with a question, which you did not respectfully answer. I said a lot. I was physically abused a lot. And I don't think it's beneficial for me to go through and list statistical numbers of how many times I was physically abused. I asked you, what benefit will that bring to this conversation? Can you respectfully answer that question for me, please?
Yes, it can enlighten me as to how things happened in your life that I had no knowledge.
42 times I was physically abused, Dad. How does that help enlighten you?
By whom?
My mother and my mother and my. Should I call him my father, Dan? Should I refer to him as my father?
Call him whatever you want. I don't care.
You really don't care?
He's your stepfather, but I don't have a problem with you calling him stepfather, father, Dan. Makes no difference to me.
I wish it did make a difference to you. I wish my father cared about those things. Okay.
I love the way you twist my words, but
I feel like you do the same thing to me.
Right. I respect your right to call Dan anything you want to call him.
Okay, I told you how many times I was physically abused. How does that help enlighten you?
Now it starts to make me wonder how that could have possibly happened over the years, and I did not know about that.
Probably the same way that you've chosen to not talk about your sexual abuse over the years. It's a really uncomfortable thing to talk about.
I was abused one time, and I did talk about it to two different therapists. You were abused 42 times, and you've never spoken to me about it at all. Why would that be?
I don't know. Are you trying to say I'm wrong? But should I have talked to you about it?
I'm asking why you didn't.
I don't know. I could psychoanalyze, if I had some more hours to think about it. But are you telling me that I should have talked about it over the years?
I'm not telling you anything.
What is your... Okay, I'm asking you. I need you to tell me. Should I have talked about my physical abuse, or should I have just kept my mouth shut?
If the sexual abuse that you suffered is causing you to be the kind of person you are today, I would say yes, you probably should have talked about it.
Me too. That's what I'm trying to do now. I'm just trying to learn how to have respectful conversations about it.
If you had talked to me about it at the time, I could have pulled you out of that situation instantly.
I don't think going to your house would have been a healthy thing. You were another psychologically and emotionally abusive person to me. You know what? The state of Georgia actually helped me get into a really healthy place. It was another person's family. Tony Price and Buff Price were really healthy parents to me. He treated me like a father should treat his son. And she treated me like a mother should treat her son. And it gave me a view of how a healthy family operates. And it helped me see the dichotomy between my family, who proclaims to care about me and proclaims to operate in a healthy way. And it's not what I've perceived to be healthy at all. So I have lived in a really healthy atmosphere with somebody who treated me like a respectful father should treat his son. But it wasn't you, Dad. It was someone else.
Good. I'm glad you got that.
Thank you. Me too. When was the last time you talked to Terry?
My sister?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Mother's Day.
Of this year?
Yeah.
Do you just call her every Mother's Day?
No, I talked to my mother and talked to Terry because she was there.
Oh.
I don't call my sister. I don't call my sister at all.
Do you think you have a close relationship with your sister?
Absolutely not. Never had.
Why is that?
Probably for the same reason that you have asked Marion not to stay in communication with you. My sister was text bombing me, day and night and day, and I asked her to stop all communication.
And she didn't? It felt like harassment?
Yeah, and she did. After I told her to please stop or I would block all communication with her, she stopped.
One of the things, my next real question is, okay, if that's your relationship with Terry, my next question is, what is your nickname for Marion? What has your nickname for Marion been my whole life?
Sister. Got it from your mom. Your mom started calling her sis when she was little. And I started calling her sis too.
Do you think there's any chance that might be unhealthy to put her on the same psychological place as your sibling instead of your child?
If it creates a problem for Marion, she's never told me about it.
Oh, I wasn't talking about for Marion. I'm really talking about from my perspective. It seems like you have put my half-sister on like the same page as your sibling. Do you consider her your sibling?
Absolutely not. I consider her my daughter.
But you call her sister.
I call her sis, I call her sister, I call her sweetheart, I call her Marion, I call her several things.
Sister is really the nickname I'm getting at. Because that's the
one I've used the most.
That's the one I think kind of points out some of the root of some psychological issues in our family that are not healthy.
Never thought about that myself.
Cool. It's cool then. Just having a respectful way of revealing new information to each other. That's what we should do.
Yes. I picked up a nickname that your mother was using and started using it. We used to call Mike Tuffy. And I don't assign any connotations to that. It doesn't make me think of Mike as a toilet seat, which is a toughie. It doesn't make me think of anything but
no, but yeah, that's kind of irrelevant. But regarding Marion and calling her sister, I mean, talking about Michael and toilet seats, that's irrelevant, Dad. But Marion and calling her sister is directly relevant, because what that nickname shows is that you and maybe Mom, by coming up with the nickname, are trying to create this narrative of our life that Marion is our sister. My perspective, and you might correct me if I'm wrong, please do, but from my perspective, the reason you and Mom called her sister is to kind of program into me and Michael that she is our sister and not our half-sister. She's our sister, your sister, she's your sister. And if you program that into your sons, they'll never ask, what about her dad? What about her father? Is she our half-sister?
Never once in my life did that cross my mind. You just brought it up.
Oh, I'm glad that you can think about it now, because I think it's really should be thought about. I think it really was. I think the whole reason you and Mom used that nickname was to teach Michael and me that she's our sister, not our half-sister. And from my perspective, it kind of whitewashes a bunch of stuff that needs to be talked about if we want to be a healthy family.
She treated you like a sister. She treated you you like you were her brother?
She treated me, she's harassment. She treated me in a way that's so harassing I had to change my phone number. You described Terry treating you the same way. Is that how a sister treats a brother?
I'm talking about when you were a child.
I'm talking about through my whole life. I don't really remember being a child, but I remember mostly like my teenage and adolescent years, and she was really harassing to me most of my life. My sister, or my half-sister, whatever you choose to call her, Marion, has been a really harassing force in my life. So when I think about a sister, I think about, ooh, somebody who treats me really bad.
And of course now you've also explained that Mike has always been a very harassing force in your life.
I didn't say that, but he's had a really negative impact for other reasons. It's not really harassment. He's good about keeping his own space. But he definitely is a really manipulative, conniving person who is kind of like two-faced. I really don't trust the things that he says. But no, I don't think that he's really I wouldn't say that he's harassing. I feel like you're putting words in my mouth to say that.
You have told me that he created lots of problems for you all in your life, and stole your girlfriends or tried to steal your girlfriends and things like that.
Basically, he's been I think it's envy that has soured his heart towards me our whole life. I've never felt love from him. I've felt sour envy.
So it's clear that you don't have a good relationship with both your half-sister and your brother.
If that's what you say, those are your words.
Well, from the video I watched that you were asking them to never communicate with you again, I would consider that you don't have a good relationship and don't want to have a relationship.
Okay, that's your perspective. I get it.
All right, well then, let me ask you the question then. When you put that video up stating 3 specific points that you made to them, never try to communicate with you again, never try to communicate with friends of yours and ask questions about you, and never try to reach you through people that know you.
I'm glad you picked up on it. I'm glad you got the 3 differences. I don't expect them to really respect it.
Twice in the video, you made a point of going over it 2 times. So yeah, I got it. And if they see the videos, I guess they'll get it as well. So that indicates to me that you feel like you don't have a good relationship with them, or don't want to have a relationship with them. Is that true?
Okay, you've explained a lot of things to me to tell me what you've perceived and what you indicated, and I want you to understand. I respect your perceptions. I respect what you perceive. Absolutely. No, I think it's a little bit different than that, but it's not really necessary to talk about unless there's something I need to clear up for you.
Well, one more question about that is, do you never want to hear from those 3 people again?
This is the best way I can answer that. I'm trying to stay open to the possibility that my brother and my sister and my mother might treat me with respect in the future. I would love that. I would love a mutually respectful relationship. But at this point in my life, I've tried to be open to that so long, and I've continued to receive harassment so long. I got to learn at some point, where do I create that boundary line to treat like you did with Terry and just say, hey, stop talking to me because it's harassment. I'm trying to respectfully find that boundary condition. If you can help me with that, I'd appreciate it. I've kind of reached a point where I'm saying to them, let me finish. I'm trying to say to them, you've messed with me so badly. I need space, and I think it's going to be months, maybe even years of just space. But I'd like to be at the point where I can have a loving relationship in the future. I think that it really comes down to them being willing to change things about themselves. They might not have the psycho-emotional fortitude to change. So I've got to create healthy boundary conditions. Does that make sense to you? I know it's a wordy explanation, but I try to point out the details of exactly what I think and believe. Does that make sense?
When we had a conversation when I was sitting in a parking lot in North Carolina, I made it clear to you, I think.
You really avoid all of my questions. It's really disrespectful. I left you with a direct question. Do you understand what I just said to you? Yes or no, man? Come on, all I need from you, Dad, is like, yeah, son, I get you. I understand what you just said. But you never give that to me.
Trying to answer your question, if you'll let me. In that conversation in North Carolina, I made it clear to you that I respected your right to do what you actually did in the video. I respected your right to disassociate yourself from people who were creating problems in your life, whether they be family members or friends.
Cool.
I think I made it clear. I think I made it clear that every person should have that right, and I agreed with your right if they were giving you that much grief to do it, to disassociate. So the simple answer would have been said, yes, but I wanted to explain to you how I felt about that. I agree with your right to do that. And I talked at length about it. And I feel like every person in this world has that right. They have the right to do the same thing to you. I have the right to do the same thing to you. You have the right to do the same thing to me.
I'm a little lost. I don't know exactly what we're talking.
I think every person in the world has the right to tell any other person, you know, I love you, or I want to love you, but our relationship is so toxic right now, or it's creating so much trouble for me. I need you to stop communicating with me.
Okay. So you understand why I recorded that video. Great. And you agree with me and you respect my decision to do that. Awesome, thanks.
All right. And do you respect the fact that they could do the same to you?
Do I respect? I would love for them to continue the conversation with me, yeah. If that's what you're saying, what are you trying to say?
I'm asking, would you feel okay if they did a video that said the same thing to you? Don't ever contact me again.
Would I feel okay with it? I think I mean, it's like, would you feel okay if a meteorite full of bubblegum hit the South Atlantic Ocean? It's a totally hypothetical situation, right? It's kind of irrelevant to say, because that situation with, if they did that, they don't use technology like I do. I wish they would record a video. I wish you would record a video to me telling me your thoughts, Dad. I wish Marion and Michael, because actually, yeah, if they recorded a video, I think they'd be a little bit more respectful to me. And our family has a really bad habit of being passive aggressive in communication, right? And I think that if we start to record videos, we can get rid of that passive aggression. And we can share our thoughts in a respectful way, and we can actually have an archive of the conversation so that we can review it and say, hey, that wasn't really a healthy way to do this. That video you recorded was a really unhealthy perspective. Let's maybe change that a little bit. I think it would be a really healthy thing if we started to communicate through videos, yeah. What do you think about that?
I don't trust you to communicate with videos.
Well, I'm sorry that you don't trust me. I understand why. You've lived a very treacherous life and your family has not been trustworthy. You've told me that you choose not to operate with your family in an honest way. I don't really respect that, but I understand it, and I want you to know that I understand it, and I treat you with the amount of respect that I believe you deserve.
Okay. So I never really got an answer to that question. Whether you think other people have the right to cease communication with people.
Is that because I feel like that's a rhetorical question, Dad? I believe everyone has the rights that the Constitution gives them, the right to freedom of speech. Yes, they have the right to record a video and post it. I believe that, the freedom of speech. I also believe they have the right to remain silent. They have the right to not talk to me if they want to. I do believe those things. That's why I feel like your question is rhetorical.
All right, let me ask you a non-rhetorical, very specific question. Would you respect my right to ask you to never send me a text again?
No, because I think that's an immature question.
From your perspective.
Yeah, you just asked me to never send you a text message again. That is a really, anything else I say is going to be my opinion, so I'm going to withhold my opinion just to be respectful. But there are a lot of people that could give you a really good opinion on when a father asks his son, never send me a text message again. I mean, there's a lot of people that are willing to tell you if they think that's a healthy or an unhealthy thing. But from my perspective, if you were to ask me to never send you a text message again, that's not a really healthy perspective to operate from. I don't believe.
You would not honor that request.
Maybe if I had some things that were really important for me to send to you, I would break the rules and I would send you a text message. Like if I broke my leg and I was like, oh, I need help, I need to get to the hospital, I would send you a text message even though you had asked me not to. Yeah. So is that disrespectful of me?
Yeah, from my point of view.
Okay. Well, we agree to disagree, I guess.
Yeah. And, the same, because it looks to me like you have asked them that. You've asked them never to send you text messages or communicate in any way. And if they continue to send you text messages, you would feel like they were not respecting your wishes.
Yeah.
And yet, if I ask you not to text me, you say that you can text me anytime you feel like it.
No, I said that if I broke my leg, I would text message you. Not anytime. I didn't say, look at this. Look how you changed my words around. Can we just pause? take a breath, calm down, 30 seconds of no speech. Do you see how you twisted my words around there?
Okay, can I reword my request?
No, I'd like you to answer my question. Do you see how you twisted my words around? Yes or no?
I see how you think I twisted your words around.
So that's a no. You don't see how you twisted my words around, do you?
No, I don't. I
Okay, that's really great. This is great. This is great health right now. We're making headway because now you're being honest with me. Thank you.
Okay, now can I reword my request?
Mate, sure, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you.
Would you respect my request to you to never text me again unless it was a medical emergency?
I can think of situations where I would break those rules, so I would say no.
Is there any request that I can make that you would honor to not text me on a regular basis?
Yeah, this request. Son, will you not text me if I record a video to you every day that's 5 minutes long sharing my thoughts to you and post it online? Yes, in that scenario, I will never text message you again. But it will require you to sit down and hit record on your camera and record your thoughts to me for 3 or 5 minutes every day. That's all, and just post it. Just post online, let me know what you think, how you feel, and if you do that, I will never send you a text message again, Dad, and I will honor your request in that way.
Okay, so if I don't agree to that, you got to continue to text me.
No, I didn't say that. I don't really like texting you. I don't like communicating with you because you're a harassing person in my life. I don't respect the way that you choose to communicate.
Now we're getting somewhere. You just admitted that you don't like communicating with me. I don't like communicating with you.
I wouldn't have expected that because you're a really harassing person and our communications are not healthy. I believe there's a lot of things, but for whatever, you seem really like happy that we don't have good communications. Why does that make you happy? You smiled, you backed away and smiled and started laughing. Why? That's almost psychotic. Is that what you want for us to have a bad relationship with bad communication? Does that make you happy?
You just said that you don't like communicating with me.
Because you're hurtful to me and I don't like being hurt.
You're hurtful to me and I don't like
I think that's why we don't have much communication. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes. You hurt me and I hurt you.
And I don't want that to happen, so I try to have as least communication with you as possible. I think that's a respectful thing to do.
Okay, so I'm trying to find out a way that we cannot have any communication so that neither one of us will be hurt.
I had a feeling that's how you feel because several years ago you actually got mad at me in the car and you said, "Don't ever talk to me again. Don't ever call me again." You know, my personal opinion is that for a parent to tell their child that, especially for a father to tell his firstborn son, "Don't ever call me again," or "Don't ever text me again because I can't stand to have the conversations you want to have." I don't think that's a really respectful thing to do. I think I think a man that treats his son like that is probably emotionally and psychologically crippled. But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. But I really don't see a healthy reason for a father to tell his son, "Never contact me again under any circumstances." That doesn't seem healthy to me.
I'm not healthy. I agree with that. I'm not healthy. I've been psychologically fucked up my whole life. That's why I went to therapy a couple of times. Obviously, it never cleared up the problem. So I would like to find a way that we don't have to communicate anymore.
That really hurts me. That makes me sad.
Well, you ought to. That really hurt me and made me sad when you posted a video on the internet about me and what happened to me in my life without ever even consulting me about
You don't seem sad right now. You seem bitter and really aggressive and negative. I don't think it was sadness. I think it was anger. There's a difference.
Whatever you make it out to be, I felt like I had been sucker punched. I felt like the wind was knocked out of me, and I felt like it was an extreme betrayal.
Ego death hurts. Ego death hurts really badly. I understand. I'm sorry you feel bad. I know, it's sucker punch. It feels like the ground's taken out from under your feet, doesn't it? Like somebody pulled the rug out from under you. I've felt like that many times from my family members. I think the word that describes it, Dad, is treachery. It's treacherous, right?
All right.
When somebody that you love and depend on and respect, when they pull resources out from under your feet that you depend on, whoo, puts you in a state of panic, right?
Pretty much the only time you treat me with respect is when you need something, son. When you need money.
I'm sorry you feel that way. I respect you all the time, but there's just you're really hurtful to me, so I try and avoid communications as much as possible because I don't want to be hurt anymore.
Neither do I. And I don't want to spend sleepless nights. I don't want to spend days that I can't function in my job. And
I'm sorry a YouTube video did that to you, you know? I think being able to talk about these things overcomes that so that you will be able to work. And you know, these psychological issues won't cripple you and keep you from being able to work.
I'm sure I'll find a way to get back to work. I always have my entire life. Everything that's happened to me in my life is just, you know, I found a way to get past it without requesting help from friends so much, without putting my life story on the internet for people to, you know, make them feel sorry for me, you know.
You think I'm doing it for people to feel sorry for me?
That's what it looks like.
Oh, I'm hurt that you feel that way. I've explained to you really articulately several times why I feel so compelled to share my story. It's really uncomfortable. It's really embarrassing. You know how you felt when Robert reached around and sexually molested you and grabbed your dick and probably jerked you off? Did it make you comfortable or uncomfortable?
What do you think, son?
I think it made you comfortable. Did it make you comfortable?
Made me uncomfortable, made me jump out of the bed, made me attempt to beat the fuck out of him, okay?
Okay.
But that's my situation. That's my life.
And I'm your son. I'm part of your life.
But that's not for you to put my situation on the internet for people all over the world.
I didn't put your situation. I put my situation. You know what my situation is, Dad? If you weren't so narcissistic, always thinking about your life, you might actually hear the things that your son has to say about his life. So, for a moment, stop focusing on yourself. You might need to rewatch that video to Robert because I didn't talk about you. I talked about me. And I talked about my relationship. Shut the fuck up, old man. I talked about my relationship with my father. Now, if you're so narcissistic to watch that video and only think about yourself, well, I'm actually not surprised because you are very narcissistic. There are a lot of manipulative, really gross symptoms that come along with narcissism. And I really think that I recommend that you just look up Wikipedia, look up the symptoms of narcissism and start to try and counteract those in your life. That would be a really healthy thing to do.
Very respectful. Shut the fuck, old man. Very respectful.
No, it's not very respectful. You shouldn't say that. You're being sarcastic right now. It was disrespectful for me to say that. I'd like to apologize. I'm sorry I called you fucking old man. But you were trying to talk over me, and it was really important for me to say what I had to say. So please forgive me for being disrespectful.
And how about all the times you call me a pathetic?
What about we don't need to recount all those. I could hey dad, for every moment you pull up of something that I did to hurt you, I could pull up a moment of something you did to hurt me, and we could go back and forth forever. But I don't think that's beneficial. I don't think it's positive. So I'm going to try and avoid that. Okay?
That brings me back to my question: how can we stop having communication? And you respect my wish to never communicate with you again.
Have the conversations that help me deal with these aspects, so I feel like I've grown past them, and then I'll probably never feel like talking to you again.
Okay, I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm ready for our conversations and our communications to come to an end. So I'm respectfully asking you, how can we end it so that I don't have to take drastic measures like changing my phone number, like turning off your phone, like turning off your internet?
Are you threatening to turn my phone off because you don't like what I have to say?
I'm asking you questions.
Woo, your questions have assumptions built into them that make me really uncomfortable, that make me fear for my sustenance. Should I fear for my survival because you might take away my cell phone plan because you don't like the things I have to say? Is that what you're leading me to believe right now? Because that's what I'm perceiving from you. You need to clarify it for me if that's not the case.
Let me ask you this.
No, you need to tell me something. Stop asking me these subvertive questions.
I'm fixing to tell you something if you'll shut the fuck up.
Okay.
You're sitting on 17 pounds of sellable merchandise. You're not about to be without sustenance. Sell a motherfucking shit. Okay? You've got sustenance. You don't need my fucking sustenance. money out of my goddamn pocket because you've got something sellable in your fucking plastic bins. Go sell it. Don't act like you don't have a fucking way to make a living. You don't have a way to get your own goddamn cell phone. You don't have a way to get your own fucking internet. You got $17,000 worth of pot sitting there. Young man, go sell it.
Are you proud of yourself? Are you proud of yourself? Do you feel like that was a healthy way to communicate?
I'm about as proud of myself as you were for calling me a fucking old man.
So is that a no? You're not proud of yourself?
I apologize, just like you apologized.
I didn't have a smile on my face when I said it, though. I actually had a sincere apology. You had a smirk on your face, which makes me feel like you were sarcastic when you just apologized to me. Were you sarcastic or were you sincere when you just apologized?
I'm sincere, son. I apologize for blowing.
Whew, that really scares me, because when you're sincere, you have this psychotic smirk on your face, which gives me this double take. It's like I don't know whether I can trust you or not.
Well, I know I can't trust you now. That's clear.
Why?
Because you put stuff about me on the internet without my permission.
Because I'm honest?
You used my name and a friend of mine's name.
I used your first name. I didn't use your last name. And I used Robert's first name. I watched the video again. I didn't use his last name because I felt that was respectful. You know, the only time his full name was used is when you started talking about it.
You used your full name when you called.
You know why I used my full name? Because I'm proud of who I am, and I'm proud that I operate with authenticity. I'm not trying to hide. I'm trying to be open and honest with people. That's why I use my full name. I'm proud of who I am. You don't see that? You don't understand that, do you? That's the big difference between us. You try and hide who you are. I try and share with the world who I am.
You keep a lot of stuff hidden. For example,
what you're about to say with me, it sounds like you're projecting onto me. I can only imagine that what you're about to say is just your analysis of yourself projecting onto me. Because you've done that a lot. And the way that you're looking around the room right now, it's kind of like you're about to make it up, aren't you? You're just trying to hurt me. And I don't appreciate it, so I'm not going to let this hurtful conversation continue. I'm going to bring this to a respectful end. I love you. I appreciate the things you've had to say to me. If you have any other questions, feel free to text message me. He hung up on me. He hung up on me because I don't know why. I can't claim to know why. I really do not respect the way that my father communicates with me. I'm kind of proud that I'm able to consciously speak my position. It's taken me a lot of years and actually psychological therapy sessions to be able to learn how to articulate my thoughts and feelings in light of abuse. When somebody starts, it's like, I don't want to just call it abuse because it happens so much in conversation. It's kind of a natural thing when people are like really aggressive with you in conversation and say things about you that are off base and literally like ask you a question and then take your answer and twist it around to say something else about you. It's really frustrating. And it's not healthy communication. And that's what I get from my family a lot. I'm comfortable sharing myself with the world. I'm comfortable talking about everything I've been through. It's been really uncomfortable. And for a lot of years, I've been really quiet about it. I've tried to journal and use the camera, and I experimented with sharing stuff live on the internet, but I was really embarrassed and didn't want to. But I was like, if I just, just at least archive. I really think that technology gives us the capacity to reflect back on life and grow. It's like a mirror helps you get a reflection. Well, this digital mirror helps us get another type of reflection, better than just a glass mirror can. And I think the reflection that technology can give us, because it's like perceiving us. If I, metaphorically speaking, this camera lens, not this one on my iPhone 5S, but this metaphorical lens has been objectively perceiving me my entire life. Literally from the day I was born, that man on the phone had a camera aimed at my mother's vagina, watching my head crown come out of her vagina. There's video of this. It's really disturbing. I don't ever want to watch it. I don't think it's healthy that the man in that moment wanted to dissociate himself from the situation and put a camera in the room. I felt like it would have been healthier for him to be consciously present and have that memory ingrained in him that he was present when his son was born, instead of having that memory that he had a camera there when his son was born. I don't want that for my life. I want to have memories of being physically and psycho-emotionally present with my children. There's a word called gaslighting, and it exposes something really dark that goes on in the shadows. When an abusive person, somebody who has power in a relationship, and they use their power to not only attack somebody, but then they tell the person who they've attacked, the victim, that they are actually the aggressor. You're a bad person because you've done this. It's your fault that this happened. It's your fault that I acted this way. You caused me to hit you. Actions have results, and your actions caused me to act this way. You know, those are the kind of things that a gaslighter will say. Somebody who's trying to project onto their victim and make their victim believe that they are actually the aggressor. It's really gross, and once I understood this thing and recognized it in life, I perceived it in my family tremendously. There's a lot of hurt, there's a lot of pain in my family. Each person in my family has had some way that they've been really fucked up, really abused, really treated badly, treachery. There's a lot of treachery in my family. Betrayal of trust. And when somebody in your family betrays your trust, you get really closed up and defensive. And you learn that you can't share sensitive things with even the people that you're around all the time, your biological family members who say that they love you and they care about you. Well, when they're the ones that treat you so badly, it creates a really, really stressful, anxious atmosphere inside the person. You enter the state of duress a lot and often when your family members come around, because there's no trust. Even the words they say cannot be trusted. So I just pray that this really uncomfortable conversation I've had with my father will somehow shed some light in an authentic, organic way with somebody. It's a father and a son attempting to have it's a son attempting to have a relationship with his father, who is actually attempting to not have a relationship with his son. He asked me several times, what do I have to do to never talk to you again? Now, I'm in a defensive place, and my heart doesn't even want to open up to let you know how much that hurts me. My father is actively attempting to never talk to me again. He wants to know what he can do to never talk to me again. He just wants to I just want to be done with you. I just want to be rid of you. I just don't like what you have to say, and I want you to be gone. There's a point where I stop crying about it. I stop being emotionally torn up, and I get this confidence that, you know what? It's not me that's messed up. It's not me that needs to keep changing to try and get the approval of this broken, disrespectful man. I don't need his approval. I don't need this broken man's... His respect is valueless. His ethics and morals, he doesn't operate on virtue. He probably doesn't know what virtue is. So why do I care for his approval? That's the state that I'm beginning to grow to, and I feel confident in myself, because I can describe my values, my morals, my ethics very articulately, very conscious, because I spend a lot of time thinking about it and learning how to operate in an authentic way so that my actions are in congruent alignment with my thoughts and my feelings. I think there's layers to the human being: mentality, psychology, emotion, feeling, intuition, maybe even this esoteric, ethereal spirit, the soul. I think all these layers of the human being can be dissociated, or they can become integrated. I think it's a healthy place to become integrated, where your body, your mind, your spirit are all operating in harmony. the things that you say are also the things that you feel. They're also the things that you think. It's all in congruency. When you operate like that, I believe that you reach a level of self-actualization. You reach a level of psychological and emotional fulfillment in your life. That even in the midst of treachery and abuse and torment from people that you love, you can still have a positive internal disposition, because no man can steal that from you. Even a gaslighter who tells you you're disrespectful, you're bad, you're wrong, you shouldn't talk about your abuse, you're destroying people, you're not respectful of people's emotions. You know, people will tell you all these things, but they can't steal your internal disposition if you know how to stand for your ethos, your values, your morals, your ethics. If you understand these things about yourself, and you know how to have conscious, courteous communications, and you know how to create healthy boundary conditions in your life, then no man can steal your internal peace. I think that's where I think that's what self-mastery allows for. Self-mastery, become master of your emotions, your psychology, we got the physical animalistic nature of the human, then we have the higher cognitive functions and I think that we want to become master of these animalistic natures. I think that the way my father treated me on the phone call, he operates from this animalistic part of himself, this reactive place, like his amygdala gets fired up and he just becomes an animal. Rah, you're disrespectful, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. But I recognize that as his subcortical, animalistic, egoic nature. And I still love him as a person in light of that. I just wish he could grow to operate from his higher cognitive prefrontal cortex and not his amygdala. You know, I wish he could operate as a loving, conscientious being instead of this animal who just has to express his emotions. Maybe he'll understand me someday, maybe not. I'm kind of at a point where I don't need his approval. I don't need, because he doesn't embody the values and the ethics that are important to me. It's really what it comes down to. I think it's important that we treat people with respect, even if they don't see the world we do, even if they have a totally different belief about how things happen. What's incredible, and you learn this in sociology, or like around a collegiate level sociology class, that two people can go through the exact same situation and have totally different recollections of it. It's just the nature of how the mind works. Like if two people go through the same roller coaster ride, one person is really brave and courageous, and one person is really timid and scared, and they both go through the same roller coaster ride, the exact same twists, the exact same turns, they sit right next to each other, but they'll come out of that same roller coaster describing it in completely different ways. One person will come out from brave, courageous person will be like, whoa, it was amazing, it was so adventurous, it was crazy, whoa. The other person will be like, oh my God, I can't believe that, I'm never going to do that again, that was so scary, I can't believe I thought I was going to lose my life, it was so dangerous, no one should do that, that is so, two totally different experiences from the same ride. And because of that, that's how life is. People have different lenses of perception. And what we need to be able to do in life is have conscious, courteous, respectful communications with people in light of our different experiences, to say, hey, you have a different experience of life that I cannot have because I am not you, and I cannot experience things the way you do. And because of that, I value your perception. I value everything you have to say because your experience is unique. No one else can give me the information you can from your perspective, having had your experience. And for that reason, we should all be comfortable and we should all be allowed to express ourselves and tell our story and talk about what happened to us. I think, we got to understand that everything is a communication. The way that I describe things that happened to me in my life will only be my side of the story from my perspective. I went through a lot of abuse as a child, but that means that the situations I was in a really crazy state of duress and anxiety and scared, and the memories that are laid down in my brain during those times as a child in the midst of chaotic abuse, the memories laid down in my brain, I have to recognize they might not be accurate memories. All I have left with is kind of like this narrative that's sculpted from my past, and I can kind of deconstruct and reverse engineer and go back through that narrative and explore memories and see, and kind of like maybe take different perspectives on memories to try and grow and change and hold more positive perspectives on these memories that are kind of like ingrained in my psycho-emotional self. I think that's what my psychological therapist has helped me learn how to do. I think it's important for everybody to be able to do that, especially if your loved ones, the ones you've had issues with, are unwilling to communicate in a respectful way. Then you got to be able to find peace internally for yourself. I think it comes through understanding what your own values, morals, and ethics are, learning how to create healthy boundary conditions for yourself, so that you got to kind of teach people how to treat you respectfully. People aren't taught that in class and school anymore. People aren't taught how to be courteous and respectful to other people in light of differences. I think unfortunately, we're kind of programmed through mass media how to be antagonists, how to be in fights, how to be mad at somebody because they're a different race, or mad at somebody because they have a different income, or mad at somebody because they're a different socioeconomic class, or mad at somebody because they're a different, belief system. But we shouldn't be mad at each other for our differences. We should love each other for our differences. I'm not going to go to South Africa and study the indigenous tribes and their histories and cultures and religions. I'm just not going to do that. But I'm really thankful that there are cultures in South Africa with the rich traditions, and I'm really thankful that people have traveled down there and taken video cameras to record and share the cultures, so that I can learn about them vicariously. I think that's what's beauty, is the dynamism in life, the dynamic nature of everything. There's a billion trillion types of flavors of experience, and like my great grandfather, in his lifetime, what do they say? Like, we gain more information reading the Sunday newspaper every day than our great grandfathers gained in their entire lifetime. That's the telescoping nature of the society we live in. So much information, and the ability to exchange information has increased dramatically. So when that happens, growth happens, society changes, humanity can evolve and change because we can learn from each other really fast. I think that's what's happening. I think that sharing videos is the best way to do that. What do we say? A picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, a video has 30 pictures per second. So that's 30,000 words every 1 second of video. I think what that means, what that points out, is that there's so much information to be gained from the way that somebody speaks, from the pace that they speak, their tonality, their breath rate, their heart rate, their perspiration, where their eyes look. All of these little things can tell you stuff, and you're not going to pull that out from an email, but you can get that from a video. And that's why I think videos can be a really wonderful way to have conversations. And if you shared something in a video that wasn't really respectful, well, after you stop recording it and watch it again, you can be like, oh, time to edit. I was really disrespectful, and I really don't think that I should say that. So I'm going to record this video again and try this again and learn how to hold a respectful position on this topic that I'm talking about. That's how I'm trying to use technology, and I think it's a really healthy. I think it is the healthy way to use the tool that technology is. When you build the ship, you also build the shipwreck. When we create the internet and mobile phones and massive data plans, we create the ability for people to share information non-locally, instantaneously. Now, that can be a really beneficial thing, or it can be a really devastational thing, depending on how you use it. Now, I'm the kind of person who's dealt with a lot of sensitive issues in life that people don't like to talk about, people don't like to record videos about, people don't like to have expressed. But I think it's really healthy. I think it is actually the thing which will help us counteract the dissociation, the dichotomy, the dysfunction that is abhorrent and proliferant in today's society. The sexual abuse, it's people in positions of power that abuse their power and take advantage of those underneath them. And there's a tremendous amount of sexual abuse, and that we're all experiencing that. Thankfully, a lot of technology has allowed us to expose people who abuse their power and sexually attack, people under them. Whatever. I'm losing my words because I'm exhausted. That conversation took a lot out of me, and I'm trying to finish this off by expressing myself consciously and processing this, because this helps me get it out of my head. If I were just to end that conversation and try, I wouldn't be able to work because I'm caught up psychologically. But taking 15 minutes after that conversation to just express this into the ether, to my black mirror here, to share this with somebody in the future that may or may not benefit from it, it at least helps me get it out, and it's no longer caught up in my psycho-emotional energy body. It's not keeping me from being able to work for 2 days. I think that's the power of technology. And I love that. I think it's great if we can learn how to use it in a healthy, respectful way to help us all grow. At least that's my thoughts anyway, for what it's worth. Peace.